Well, there's a lot of our stand locations that they're already set. They're already partially cleared. Have an opening here or there, but we really need to expand. And we're typically, when it comes down to it, we're doing that within the last month of the season. And we're not trying to cut down the moon, cut down the world when we come out here. We're really trying to limit our holes, but there's some general principles that we use for cutting lanes out. I'm more of a shoot at an opening type person. I don't like long lanes. So we've been really working on our shooting lanes. We have more to do this weekend, just to make sure every stand, and you guys run into that, we get to that last prep time, we get into the season, and man, why didn't we go to the Redneck corner stand? Why didn't we go to buck corner stand? Why didn't we go to 67 point stand? Because it's a little off. So we spend our time going to every stand nowadays and making sure it's pretty simple to climb up there really quick and just make sure that your shooting lanes are where they want to be. So let's go check out this first one right here. And there's an overall strategy to this that I want to point out. And let's go see. We just spent a little time on this one last night. Now, for one thing, we a lot of times have a completely different stand entrance into the shot, or trail entrance into the shot, than we do getting into the stand. There's a lot of our stands that are set up to where there's an extreme amount of cover between us and the shot. So we're actually coming in we have to come in one way and to go to the shot. In this case, a water hole, and a completely different entrance to the stand. And that's why I like it the most. So for one of the stand clearing tips that I can give you is really try to pay attention to that. I want my shot, I want everything up here almost disconnected from the stand location, especially bow hunting, so that nothing's coming between me and the actual shot where we anticipate the shot. So almost dodge that spider web. But it doesn't always work out that way. Dylan, pond, water hole. I think I just saved Dylan from drowning.
Did my camera, more importantly.
Yeah, most important. So this is our shot right here. This is one of our shots. And you can see right here, our stand is right in that hole. Dylan, you remember when we were here last? You couldn't even see the stand in that location. So that's our hole right there. Now we have this big old junky apple tree right here that's trying to get some sun. We'll try to clear that out, but then we have another hole right here. Let's say this was a junk tree right here, an oak, or a scrubby oak, maybe an old popple. We have a lot of those around here. Then we would still leave that, because I do not want a hole in our shooting window. Like we can even shoot right over here, right? When they come in right here, we're shooting over some brush between those two trees. We have an opening right here. This is our next opening right here. It's our biggest opening by the water hole. And then this is what we really like to do is you get into this section right here, can't get a shot through. Can't get a shot until you get right into, especially right here. We can shoot this window here, and that hits a trail that comes in from the side. So my purpose for a lot of these shooting lanes in our stand locations is not to have a full window all the way around that we can shoot. I want there to be a hole here, hole right there, hole on the other side of the old apple tree, hole on the other side of the two trees that are by the apple tree in that pocket. So we have hole, hole, hole. Notice that we don't have lanes cleared all the way to the stand location. And I can't tell you how many properties where you'd even have a redneck blind there and there's a lane cleared all the way to the blind. I get that clearing a lane, you don't have to go back in every year and clean it up, but that's what we're doing. We have to come back in here and just make sure everything that's growing in is snipped off. So you cut it from there. I walked through here, waded through the brush, we cut. And to the deer, that's what I mean. Like, we're not coming in here and cutting this till right now. The season opens in 2 weeks. We're not really worried about that because we're just making some cuts back here in the brush. We're not really piling anything around. We're not clearing a lane to the stand. And so you just have these holes to shoot at. You pick them up in hole number 1, you shoot them in hole 2, 3, pick them up in hole number 4 as they're coming in this way. And so we're really looking at those holes. And what that allows us to do is has that cover in between that allows us to move, get better into position, draw our bow. And again, these close quarter situations, it's already hard enough to get a buck into a certain spot. You've anticipated this buck's going to be here. You go in, you hunt, and he gets in front of you now. That's the hard part. Getting the shot off shouldn't be the hard part. And so we stay seated. I don't know if you notice the stand up here. It's from the position we're sitting, it's about right here. So when I'm in that stand, I can easily I can cover this entire window of all 4 shooting lanes from a seated position. And that makes it so I don't have to stand. Now, if I had to stand up and there's a buck back there in the brush and I had to twist around, we can do that, but there's a lot of thick cover over there and we're just talking 1 or 2 slight little holes back in the brush. So this is one we just cleared out now. Let's go to the next one. This is another location we cleared out last night, actually, stand number 2. We had a little bit more to clear, but we were very fortunate that we like putting our stands in. Dylan, I don't know if that shows up back there, but you can see the stand. We're coming in again from a completely different access than the actual shot. And we have a lot of thick cover, vines and garbage in front of the stand. And that's a really good thing. We actually have the first hole in our first shot is right down in here. And you can see an extremely well-worn deer trail coming right over from a distant, larger food plot. And we have a hole right here. You can barely see the top rail of the shooting rail of the stand location right here. So this is one of those where we can get a shot here. We could probably move and do anything we want up there and get a shot here because we're completely covered up other than the hole for the shot. Now, as we extend here, here's the deer trail coming through. We could stand up and get a shot here, but I can barely see the top of the seat behind Dylan. Again, a thick wall of vines, grapevines. And so what we're doing is we're using all this cover as our backdrop right here. It completely circles. We have limited shots. I can guarantee next year we'll have to clean this out again, but especially this time of the year, we don't want to come in here and just create giant holes and lanes. And then when you come back to over here, the stand appears wide open, but you can see in this case, we had a lot of brush to clear down. But then there's this pile of brush right next to it, even extending up behind the stand. It's a tri-trunk, and so we felt we could get away with a little bit more here, and our shot really extends all the way across this food plot. So we have, the more you go back over here, the more and more that stand is completely around cover. And what I find is, we're hunting these stands, it might be 5 times a year, 7 times, or 2 times. Not a lot though. And for that, you can get away with a little bit more, but we still, some of our best shots over there, it's a hole, it's over brush, opens up a lot more right here, but we're tucked completely into the cover. And again, very difficult to get from here to there. So we're coming in the exact opposite direction to get back down, get back into this location. So another one where we have holes on either side, we have brush in front of us that help us pull back. And you can look at how dark it is up there. We could get away with moving around a lot. So this is a stand where we could cut more because we can get away with more. I suspect that this hole coming into here will maybe be good for 1 more season after this, but that other one we'll have to cut for next year again too. We're using an extendable. It's got different sections of steel, gas-powered pull saw trimmer. It works pretty well. And you can see right here, we've set it up so we have our camera checking this out. And I was actually thinking about a way to get this out. I'd rather this mock scrape was out about right here, but they're cruising right around this edge all the time. They'll hit this. I would rather hang out. So I thought about doing is getting another stout, maybe maple branch, maybe an oak branch. And I'd use some hose clamps and clamp it to that in 2 locations, get it to hang out further. We just extend that rope up, maybe a longer vine, get it out a little bit further. What do you think about that idea, Dylan?
I think you could use that branch right there.
I think this one might not be that bad. And you're saying we could probably get it out to about right here, but you can see how flimsy it is. So then when it gets windy, we'd probably cut that branch off, those branches, and just leave it so it's just the end of that right there. So we could probably get it to right here, which would stick it out at least 2 feet, 2.5 feet further. That wouldn't be that bad either. So something I wouldn't mind revisiting and getting it out stuck further. But either way, that trail that comes through here is going right here. So either way, whether they hit the scrape or not, we're getting their picture against this backdrop of switchgrass and weeds. And then again, we're coming in that shot right here. So that's 2 tree stands that we've recently cleared out for close quarter shooting, water hole, food plot. Let's go check out 1 redneck blind. We'll see how we hid that in there. Really cool approach and set up for the shot, shooting lanes. And we love it. It's blended in really well. And let's go take a look. So this one I'm going to drive right into. It's a small hunting plot, the end of a plot. And I'd rather drive in there and make a little noise than leave our scent all over the place. I don't think it's going to hurt us too much in this location, but you can see our rut zone right here where we have a lot of forage, but then we have this skinny connecting clover trail that Dylan was actually instrumental in, kind of designing this. And when we get down here, our bow shot is down on this end. Well, this whole plot's over 100 yards long, so we want to be able to muzzleloader hunt here, shotgun hunt, but we wanted to really set up this shot down in this end because a lot of deer come in this end and they go out the trail that we just drove down on, and it doesn't put us in range of the stand location we have on the other side. Dylan, if you note, there's a scrape right down here, but they come out on this end. You see that down there?
Yep.
So we're starting to scrape. It's August 26th or 7th, somewhere around there.
28th, man.
28th, really?
Yep.
Wow, time is flying. But anyways, so we're checking that out right there. This is our shot down here, and if you can check out the redneck. Redneck is right on this end, and if you notice again, we didn't clear out the entire landscape. We cleared out a hole so we could shoot out that 1 horizontal window. It doesn't matter if it's gun or a bow. That's our shot right there. So we left a little sumac on the side for cover. We left the shrubs over to the side. We didn't try to clear a big lane going down into the woods. This is our shot right on the end here. I'd rather have that little shot right there and plenty of room to move around. We're only shooting out that window. We'll obviously see them before they get into that window, and we can make our shot. And then, oh, by the way, we can go all the way to the back of this food plot, which is a long ways down there, and get that 125 yardish shot all the way to the end. And that's where the apple tree is. We have an apple tree. We have a mock scrape down here. We're going to install a mock scrape right here. And a lot of these pieces, we're looking at it like we have some mature bucks over in another area. In fact, we're not even going to drive. I thought about showing you that setup, but we have juniors coming out there quite consistently. Crockett, the new name of the new buck. In that location. So we want to keep those deer happy. The big 9, we have a big 9. I don't know if that's lefty from last year because his 5 is on his left. So either way, he's a really big one. But we're going to stay away from that area right now. We're about 2 weeks out. And those are all areas we cleaned about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So they've settled back in. It takes a week or two, it seems like, to settle back in. But we're going to we'll finish up by just going around to the back. I want to show how we set this entire blind up because this is our shot right here and then across there with a gun. But what we did is we installed that redneck, and we expect that to be a really non-issue to the deer, not only because of how it looks from the front, but deer can't even walk by it. That's a dead end in there that we can get to. We only put that blind on a 5-foot platform. We can get 10, 15 foot, doesn't really matter. But the higher you go, the more they can watch you get into that blind. Also, with a bow, which is the majority of what we really focus on, then we can shoot out that horizontal window, a big wide space, and we can use our vertical bow because we're closer to ground level. We don't have to use one of the corner windows, which limits our shot. Fine to use them, but I'd rather have the entire width of that 3.5, 4 foot wide window that we can shoot out of in the front and get a better shot, easy to maneuver around. We sit in a nice swivel chair and we can move back and forth. But man, I can't wait to slip in here for muzzleloader, shotgun. If we have a nice buck using this area, which we almost always do. Dylan bow 2 years ago in this spot. So, but let's go to the back side of this. And this access is another, this whole thing set up perfectly, but the access is a big part of that. You know, what's really cool is, like I've talked about before, we have about 3 miles of edge and switchgrass. So we're going along the switchgrass border. That keeps deer, when we're on the outside here and our quiet cat bikes are walking in, they can't see us. But it's not only the switchgrass. We have switchgrass, sumac, really thick briar edge, nasty edge. So when we're out here, we have a few different layers to keep those deer from seeing us. So then we get to this point right here, we can throw our bike in the switchgrass, and there's really no reason for deer to get out in this corner. Now they can be out here as it gets closer to dark, but really this is just a nice little hidden corner, and this is a huge area out here. So the chances that they're right downwind at dark are really low. And but boy, again, the access is beautiful here. So even coming in here, we twisted the access so it went down in to the right and then back to the left. And you can imagine as this thickens up on either side, we had to bring a skid steer in here, push us out. Then it'll be really hard from the Redneck to even see out to the field in the future. This area, this opening right here, we were bringing the skid steer in different directions, the platform, the Redneck, and so we really tracked this place up. But this will narrow down to about half the width that it is right now. It'll start in this corner, come around here, then we snake it down here. And getting back in here, pretty easy with a skid steer because we can just push it out and level. But here's the beauty of this. The end of this food plot, that's all a big dirt pile right there with a lot of logs from clearing these medium-sized cherry trees, sumac, and putting them in this pile 2 years ago. So that really cluttered this up. We've had a goal for a long time of putting a stand in here because we can just sneak down here. It's so thick up here. Rarely are the deer just going through this edge, just on top right here. When you come down here, they weren't moving around here so much because of the pile right here. So then we were able to take some of the debris, put it off right here, some of the debris on this end. When I cleared the shooting lane for the Redneck on the opposite side from the food plot, then I put a lot of that brush on this back side of the shrub, so that from the field, you can't even tell that we stuck this back in here other than the Redneck. Able to climb up here. Climb up here very quietly. And open up the Redneck. When you get in here, we have the entire curtain kit already installed. I'll just be noisy just because we're not hunting, obviously. And there is our shot. Clip this up here. And what's really cool this year, Redneck, every year they improve something. For 15 years, they've sold over 100,000 blinds at this point now, which is pretty cool. But they're putting this noise deadening insulating foam on the top third of the blind. So you could actually stick your finger in it almost. I'm not going to, but it's a lot softer. And the whole idea behind that in the soft panels right here is to insulate the noise. And by the time we put our curtains in here to darken it up, there's really no echo chamber like maybe the early blinds were 10 years ago. I think Dylan, we first hunted on them and had them in 2016, your first year. So this, and what I meant by the swivel chair is for bow and vertical. I'll pull this back. I'll get this, I would say, right about here for a bow shot. So I can sit back in here and my stabilizer, sight, and everything will be above that window. So when I shoot and release that arrow, it'd be at least this high over the window. And that's why I don't like putting this on a 10-foot platform, aside from the fact that we could climb in and out of this blind and a deer would never know we're even getting in. We can't even see the deer, see the food plot until we look out this front window. So really easy to get in and out. I typically am not hunting out of a Redneck with a bow, but every year we keep making our Redneck installations friendlier and friendlier for a bow. And it's because of the resources it takes to put them in. They're going to be here for decades to come. Might as well hide it in really well. And so I didn't clear out a bunch of brush here because that offer a limited shot. That's a big window right there to shoot. In fact, that scrape is just right in front of me. Dylan, would you say that scrape is 28 yards? Something like that. And that's on the extreme outside edge of the food plot. So there's the main trail comes in about 6-7 yards on this side. So our shot would be 23, 24, 25 yards from right here. What I like about these is as the kids are getting older, Jackson's 3 now, 3.5. So, you know, for him to be able to come out here and hunt and make a little noise, we can get away with it. And There's something about bringing the kids out and having them experience this with us and making sure that we are shooting lanes. You know, we have a lot of cover here, a lot of cover there. We're just shooting that nice hole. And then our gunshot, we can shoot all the way to the end down there, even without taking this little bit of sumac that's right here. So I'm going to leave as much cover as I can. And then I'm going to have those holes in place so that there's no way a deer can get through within this range, whether it's 22 yards from there, 23, 40 out there, this little hole of 20 yards to 28 in that end. There's all these holes so a deer can't possibly get in, and that's way better than making 3 lanes right from the blind. Great to leave as much cover as possible. Deer can't even get to here unless they go all the way around to the stand. And that's really the way we like setting it up overall, whether it's a tree stand, a blind, and then our ability to get in and out here quietly and not spook the deer on the way into the stand is really critical to the entire buildup. So don't just think clearing lanes. Think, how can I get in and out of the back of the stand? A lot of that brush we use from clearing lanes we put towards the tree. Leave brush between you and the tree. It's better to shoot over brush, top brush, and shoot over it than it is to clear all the way to the ground. And that way you're a lot more hidden, because being a bow hunter, it's all about that surprise shot and clearing your lanes. Think about that as you're going into the season, how you can shoot out of a hole and the deer have no clue you're there until that arrow is shot. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really want to urge you to check out purewildlifelens.com. That is my seed company. Jen and I founded that 3 years ago, 3 seasons ago. And we have 20 offerings now for you. And there's 3 quick things I want to hit. Pure wildlife blends, meaning we add no coatings, garbage, inert matter to the seed, and we don't try to sell you on that. No fancy colors in the bag. Also, same day shipping. And bottom line is, I've been researching and building experience on food plotting at a high level for the last 3 decades. Each of that goes into the bag. We choose what we want to plant in the bag, not our seed wholesaler. And all that research goes into that, all that experience. So check out those blends. And again, it's crunch time. Ours are looking beautiful. And if you check out our seed, this is a perfect time to buy. Thank you for watching.